Is it over? I'm back?
Agent Kidman?
And we are back with the next DLC of The Evil Within. This one's titled The Consequence, and this is the part 2 of the assignment DLC where you're playing as Kidman. And while I was very negative on that previous DLC, this DLC does manage to do a couple things better than the previous one. Again, that is not saying much.
This is Crimson? This can't be real. The light.
A STEM prototype at Beacon.
Beacon. I just hope I can get there before he does.
Okay, so this time around, you do get more chances with combat, and I was at least appreciative of that. Although, it does do this really obnoxious thing of taking a gun away from you partway through, which I just fucking hated that. Because, stealth is an acquired taste for me, alright? I need stealth to be a certain way. And if it's like Splinter Cell, fine. I can enjoy stealth like that. But the stealth mechanics sometimes are not entirely fleshed out, and I felt that the stealth mechanics were not perfectly fleshed out with this game. So combat was a breath of fresh air whenever I got in this DLC. But it still gets taken away from you time to time. Now, something that was really great in this DLC is there's this new lighting mechanic of these, like, glow sticks. You can throw 3 at a time, and you're in, like, just this pitch black area. And so you'll activate one, and you throw it, and it led for some really tense moments. Because sometimes you just be in the dark, and you throw a glow stick, and it just goes past an enemy. Now, interesting enough, in this game, The Evil Within, enemies do not see light. Apparently they only see like your movement, I guess. So you have your flashlight on quite a bit, you can have these glow sticks on quite a bit. I don't really trust that though, because I still think they can see through light. But you know, it was a fun mechanic, and they only did it like once, and once you got your flashlight back, they never really did it again. So I was wondering why they put so much work and effort into a mechanic they use one time. It doesn't make sense. Now, I will admit, this one had far better pacing than the last game. Granted, both games are only 2 chapters each, but the first game just kind of dragged and dragged and dragged. Not the main campaign. The first DLC kind of dragged and dragged and dragged and dragged and dragged, and I just, I couldn't really go for it. But this one is far better paced, and I had a lot better time. I won't say I had a fun time with this one still. And it still helped with explaining unanswered questions in the main game, which really shouldn't have been removed from the main game. I think that was a mistake in the long run, especially since the second Evil Within game starts off expecting you to know everything that happened in the DLC. Not everyone got the DLC. And that sucks. I mean, that's a bad thing. You shouldn't have a sequel that expects you to have played all the DLC. Alright? A sequel should be able to take off right after the first one. Alright? I mean, imagine if you had, like, the movie Alien, and then the movie Aliens, and Aliens expecting you to read a comic book series before it continues. They don't do that shit. Why they do it with video games, I have no idea. So, in the end, while this was better than the assignment, I would say that the consequence is still not worth your time. If you want to know the explanation of unanswered questions that you didn't get the first campaign, just go on YouTube and look those up, because honestly, I don't feel this is worth the price. It's just more Kidman doing stealth with some action scenes. I didn't have a lot of fun playing this one like I did with the main campaign. And so, honestly, I would say there were better DLCs out there. Anyway, my name is Christopher Crown, 11 Hour Reviews, and that will be all.